Hello and welcome to my channel again. My name is Dr. Shanai, and the name of my channel is Direct from Doctor. And in my channel, I'll be supplying a lot of information about the various diseases, the disorders, and treatment available for that, and how to prevent the diseases, and such information. So it's basically a health channel. So to get a lot of authentic information, which I collect from various doctors, I myself am a doctor, and I collect the information, authentic information from the various sources, and will give it accurate information, as accurate as possible. So thank you for being with me, and please continue to watch my videos, and also recommend my videos to your friends, share and support, and also most importantly subscribe. I need to grow my channel. Thank you very much. So today I'll be continuing the series of my videos on diabetes. So in the last video, I had told about the importance of insulin, the role of insulin in controlling the blood glucose level or the blood sugar level, and where insulin is produced, which organ produces insulin, and what exactly the insulin does. And if there is no insulin or less insulin, or if the insulin is not working properly, what happens? And the result is diabetes. That's what I told last time. So now today we'll know what exactly is diabetes. The tests what the doctors advocate and what are available for diabetes. So basically, when we say diabetes, we are talking about what is called as diabetes mellitus. That is the actual official name for diabetes. And as I said earlier, when there is diabetes, when a person is diagnosed with diabetes, the blood sugar level is high, very high. So how do you know it's high? For that, there are measures, and those measures are essentially the tests for the to know how much is the blood glucose level at that particular moment. See, the blood glucose level varies throughout the day. From morning when you get up, it's the lowest because the entire night you'll be sleeping and not having any food, and that is called as a fasting. So then you break the fast by eating. Immediately the glucose level goes up in the blood. See, glucose is always required. You can't do without glucose. You have to have glucose because that is the basic for the cells, basic nutrition for the cells, and also for the brain. So without glucose one cannot live. It's not possible. So bit of glucose has to be there, but how much is too much? That's what we'll know. So various measures are there. So the doctor will recommend you to go to a laboratory, medical laboratory, where the tests are done. So what the laboratory technician will do is draw a blood, and usually from here, okay, from the vein here, and he'll draw the blood. If the blood is not available, or if the vein is not easily palpable, or if the technician is not able to draw the blood, he or she will draw the blood from the vein here, which is very prominent, which may be slightly more painful than here, but the results will be the same. And they will subject it to certain tests, and the details how they do it I won't go through. No, that is it's a different. It's a procedure of the pathological laboratory. So they add some chemicals to that, and they will see and they will measure it how much it is. Usually the measure is popularly all over the world. It's in the form of milligrams per deciliter. 1 deciliter is 100 ml, 100 ml, that is 1/10 of a liter, is 1 deciliter. And how many milligrams per deciliter? So what they've done is, or it can also be conveyed in the form of millimoles. Millimoles, that's another kind of measure. In certain, like in American countries, they measure in the form of millimoles. Millimoles per liter, per 1000 cc, how many millimoles? Okay, so that is how it is measured. So they'll, as I said, they'll subject the blood to certain tests, and so these tests will reveal how much, what is the quantity of blood sugar or the blood glucose that is present in your blood at that particular moment. At that particular moment, it can change later, as I said. I'll tell you exactly when it changes. So, if you're the first timer and you go to the laboratory man will call you early in the morning. Means throughout the night you won't have any. You're sleeping anyway. You're getting up in the morning, and the gap between the last meal in the night, what you had the previous night, the gap will be around more than 8 hours or 10 hours, and your stomach will be empty. You can just have a bit of water and go to the laboratory. The laboratory man will open the blood. That's the reason these laboratories are open early in the morning. They'll draw the blood, and in case they want to do what is called as a glucose tolerance test, means if you have glucose immediately after the test, how much it will go up hour by hour. So they will make you drink certain amount of glucose water or whatever they have. You drink that, and after an hour again the blood is drawn. First, the blood drawn was when you were in empty stomach. That means before breakfast or fasting. We call it as a fasting. And if the laboratory man insists, you have to sit there, and they will give you to drink glucose water. You drink that and sit there in the waiting room, and after an hour they will call you back again, draw the blood, and see after 1 hour how much it has gone up, the blood glucose. After 2 hours again they may measure again how much it has gone up. So this is called as glucose tolerance test. It's not always required to be done. If the doctor says, get it done. Otherwise, what they'll do is first the fasting blood sugar. That is done anyway. After that, they will ask you to go home or have breakfast and come back. You have a good breakfast, hearty breakfast, whatever you're having usually, and come back again after 2 hours and give the blood again. So that is called as postprandial. After the food you are giving it 2 hours after your breakfast. So then they will subject it to the test and see how much it has gone up. Sugar, naturally it has to go up because you've eaten. In 2 hours it goes to that peak, and that value is available. That is called as PP or postprandial. The first glucose is called as a fasting, FBS, fasting blood sugar. The second one what give after the breakfast, 2 hours after the breakfast, is called as PPBS, postprandial blood sugar. So those are the abbreviations available in medical terms. So how much should be the fasting blood sugar? Now that is a question. If your fasting blood sugar, according to some countries, and I see different countries have different parameters, unfortunately, for this. There's no one standard available. So many countries advocate a range of around 70 to 100 milligrams per deciliter. 70 to 100 milligrams per deciliter. And some other countries, and also some practices, they say 70 to 110 milligrams per deciliter is quite good. There's no problem. So that should be the fasting blood sugar. I hope you get it. For example, the other day I got my test, fasting blood sugar tested, and it showed as 97, which is perfectly all right. There's no problem. I don't need any treatment. It's good. It's in the normal range. So anywhere in this range, if your blood sugar falls, then it's normal. There is no problem. So I would say don't bother about what standards they're given. Up to 110, it is perfectly fine. Even if it goes by around 10 mg more, don't bother much. Don't panic. It's my advice to you. And also, a lot of my doctor's friends say, this is perfectly all right, don't bother too much. Sometimes it depends on what you ate the last night also. I'm telling you again, okay? See, what happens, as I told you in my last video, glucose is utilized and it's sent to the cells by the insulin. And once the cells utilize that, whatever the remaining blood sugar, that's the sugar that is circulating in the, or glucose that is circulating in the blood, is called as the actual blood glucose level. You get it? Suppose you eat a sweet containing a lot of sugar. there is a spike. Suddenly the glucose level goes up, suddenly. And within no time, once it gets absorbed, suddenly it goes up. And you can't see, unless you have something called as a glucometer at home. There is something called as a glucometer, where you can do the test yourself. There is a sort of a lancet, which you just prick on your finger, any finger, and the blood will ooze out a little, and there is a glucometer, a device. You can find it in the internet, what is a glucometer. And that has got a testing strip. So you just apply the blood over the testing strip, immediately glucometer will show the reading. That's also okay. The test you can do at home. Once you eat this sweet, do it after about 10 minutes and see, you can see a good spike. See this. So depending on the spike, they have fixed certain indices, certain values for certain kind of sugary food. Okay, so they say, when you go to internet and see, a big chart is available. Okay, suppose you eat banana. A banana, what is the glycemic index there? What is the glycemic index of banana? You eat one standard size banana, how much will be the spike? How much glucose will go up? And you eat one date, the date fruit, how much will be the spike? So depending on that, they have classified these foods into low glycemic index. Means if the spike is not very high, then they classify it as a low glycemic index, medium, high, like that. We'll discuss about that in one of my next videos. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, once you eat the sweet, the spike will be there. So if you are a diabetic, you may be required to test your blood frequently throughout the day. At least, not daily, once in a week or something, once immediately after get up, after fast, there is a fasting blood sugar, then after eating, after 2 hours, again, then later after 1 hour or so, again one more, after you eat a sweet or any food, once more, after the meal, one more. So several times you may have to have the test, some 5 or 6 times you may have to have the test. In that case, you can't run to the lab every time. That time it is better to keep a glucometer at home. See, the glucometer gives almost the similar readings like you can have it in the lab. For this blood glucose test, you need not go to the lab actually. Suppose you buy a glucometer and those strips are available, it may work out a little more expensive than the lab, but it saves you the time. You get the reading immediately. Some people argue that glucometer readings are not accurate, but I differ. They are more or less accurate. I have done it on myself and seen they're accurate. There's no problem. Accuracy may differ by about maybe 5% or maximum 10%. It doesn't matter actually. Say, we need not stick to the actual standards what are available in the world for these readings. They say different countries, as I said earlier, different countries, different hospitals and different practices, and even the different labs, they fix different parameters for this blood sugar level. For example, I went to one lab, they have given it as a standard parameter, they have given as 70 to 110 for fasting sugar. Then I went to another lab another day, and they have given the parameter that is a reference range as 70 to 100. Suddenly how they can reduce 10 mg per deciliter. See, this is the difference. So don't bother too much if it fluctuates a little. If your blood sugar level is a little higher, don't bother. You're still good. There's no problem. There is a limit, I'll tell you. And according to these parameters, after eating, you go again to the lab, right? After 2 hours after eating, and get the test done, or you do it at home, with the glucometer. And if it shows up to 120 mg or even up to 140, you are good. There's no problem. So that is after eating. That is called as a postprandial. Postprandial, and some say it should not cross 130. Some say it should not cross 140. Even there is a difference of opinion. I would say postprandial, if you touch even 180 or more, don't bother. You are not a diabetic. Okay? They say you are a pre-diabetic in case it crosses 130 or 140 and goes up to 180. You are they have just given that name, pre-diabetic. Means you have the chances of getting diabetes. Your tolerance is less. means it's not completely utilized. Whatever glucose you're taking in the food, it's not completely utilized. It's not sent to the cells by the insulin. So you need the treatment, and the doctor will immediately put you under treatment. So you have the right to refuse the treatment. Say, just because I told you don't refuse, but the thing is, my opinion and the opinion of many of my friends say that even sugar, after eating, your sugar going up to 180 or 200 is just fine. There's no problem. If it goes beyond 200, if it touches 250, then probably you may need a bit of treatment from the doctor. Like the doctor may prescribe you some tablets to reduce it, and see if it's not effective much, they may put you on a double treatment, like they may give the insulin injections daily, and also ask you to take these tablets like metformin, which has got its own side effects, which we'll discuss later. So what I'm trying to say is, if your blood sugar level is up to 180, don't bother much. You're good. There's no problem, according to my opinion. But then it's up to you. So just because I said, you don't have to believe me, but the thing is, I firmly believe so, and also a lot of my doctor friends believe so. So again, we'll come back to the test, and I was actually talking about the tests that are available and the various range of values those are available. So these values can be converted into oil also, oil. So they say 3.9 oil, millimoles per liter, is to 5.5, 5.6 or something. That's the normal range. So that comes up to around 100 to 110 mg per deciliter, 70 to 110 or 100, according to the lab or according to the doctor. Okay, so that is a proper fasting blood sugar. And after that comes the postprandial, that is ppbs, which may go from 5.6 mmol to 6 3 a little more, 7.2 or something, that may be good postprandial. Okay, and postprandial can go up to 140, that is a 100 or 110 to 140, according to the milligrams per deciliter. So that is a normal range for the postprandial. That's what the normal range according to statistics. There's one more called as HbA1c. HbA1c. So some doctors or some labs will recommend you, instead of if you are going most of the time to the lab to get it done, they say come once in 3 months, we'll do what is called as HbA1c test. Okay, so it's done under the belief that this blood glucose is attached to the hemoglobins. Yeah, it is attached to the hemoglobins, and these hemoglobins will survive in the blood for around 3 to 4 months, around up to 100 to 110 days. The same hemoglobin will be circulating. Okay, so they take blood and they will do this HbA1c. Okay, HbA1c shows the blood glucose attached to hemoglobins. So that gives you the average of last 3 months. If it's within 6, you are fine, according to the doctors. Some doctors say it has to be 5.7 mmol. There is a difference of opinion, and anything above 5.7 mmol. So this is essentially usually done in mmol, not in mgs. This is HbA1c. You can convert it. There is a conversion chart available in the internet. You can convert it and see how much it is. But the results usually the labs will give in mmol, that is, or millimoles per liter. It has to be more than if it is more than 5.7 mmol and it's up to 6, you are pre-diabetic. And if it's more than 6.1 or something, you are diabetic. That's what the doctor may say. Okay, but this HbA1c has got certain factors governing that. It is comes with a rider. Means HbA1c is not always accurate. I'm telling you. Okay, HbA1c is not always accurate. Most of the doctors believe in that, and most of the labs believe in that. It's a bit expensive test. Okay, But I don't believe much in HbA1c. I believe more in your regular type of glucose test. Then it's up to you, up to you. But my advice is, or my belief is that HbA1c has got certain conditions, and if the conditions differ, the test results also differ, and it may give a wrong reading. That I'll discuss some other time in one of my future videos. Then there is one more test called as random blood sugar. Random blood sugar. It's almost similar to postprandial, but random sugar value, the doctor says up to 200 mg, you're fine. Whereas in the postprandial, they say 140 is fine. Random means anytime you can go. Anytime you can go. You don't know when you're taking your food. You see a lab on the way, you can just drop in and have your test done. Whether you had food done an hour before or 2 hours before, 3 hours before, it doesn't matter. You get your sugar test done, and that gives a random blood sugar at random, anytime. Okay, that they say up to 200 mg is fine. So see the paradox here. Postprandial it has to be within 140, but random it can go up to 200. You're fine. How it can be, right? But random is a better one. Random is a better value, what you can get, and you can believe in that. So postprandial, in my opinion, you need not go for. In my opinion, but you need not follow my opinion itself. You follow your physician's opinion. I don't want to confuse you. First instance, you go for fasting blood sugar. First instance in your lifetime, you're getting it done for the first time. You go for the fasting blood sugar. If your fasting blood sugar is within 110, don't bother about any more tests. That is enough. Then after 3 months only you can go, or after 6 months only you can go for. Don't frequently go for the tests. Okay. And secondly, suppose you find more sugar in the fasting blood sugar, then only go for the postprandial. That is after eating the food. Then regularly in the future, you can go only for the random. If the random is within a range of 180 to 200, you are good. Then no problem. Don't bother about any treatment. You need not take any diabetic treatment. Even though you are classified, when it's up to 180, you are classified as pre-diabetic and unnecessary, you are put on medicines. No, I don't believe in that. But only thing what I would advise is change your lifestyle a bit. Means suspect that you may be going in for the diabetes in the future. Suspect. So cut down on the sugar. See, I am myself, I've become a senior citizen. I have avoided sugar. I don't take sugar at all. The refined sugar I never take. I have my cup of tea or coffee bland directly without sugar. Okay. If I want, sometimes I may add stevia. Stevia is a sugar substitute. That won't give any glucose spike. Okay. There is no spike of glucose there. So it's safe. 1 or 2 tablets. Then I have my food normally, but the thing is my carbohydrate levels is less, and I mean low carb diet, we call it as. I have my carbohydrate level low and more of protein intake. I'm fine. I feel energetic, and I don't have any sugar. More sugar in my blood or more glucose in my blood circulating. No, all my values are within the normal range. I'm not taking any tablets. Initially, earlier I was taking a little. Now I've given it up. I'm fine. There is no problem. That is called the lifestyle change, and it may be a bit difficult. For example, if you are addicted to this pastries, cakes, junk food, what we call it as, and high glucose food like refined wheat, like we call it as a maida. Okay. So there it may be more. So you may find that there is maybe sudden spike in. See, actually, a spike of sugar means sugar suddenly goes up, shoots up. It shoots up only for a few minutes, maybe, or maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. So then it may come down. At that time, you can't run to the lab every time and have a test, right? We don't know when it shoots up. It depends on the food what you're having. It depends on what you eat. Even you eat ice cream, it may shoot up. So these may be harmful to your kidneys, your heart, your cells, your tissues. It may be really harmful. So try to avoid It's not that you should avoid totally. You can have, now and then, there is no problem. But the thing is, don't allow frequent spikes in glucose level, frequent spikes, that is bad. Otherwise, the values what I told you, I'll repeat that again if you are confused. Fasting blood sugar means you get up in the morning and previous night you are not eaten any, you are eaten after you ate the previous night. Next morning you are giving a gap, a good gap, maybe 10 to 12 hours. You just had a bit of water and went to the lab and got it done. The test, that test result has to be 70 to 110, not 100 as some people say, 110. It's fine. They are good, no problem. You need not have any other test for some more time. Then if it shows more sugar, then go after 2 hours, eat something. You eat something or have the glucose tolerance test there in the lab itself, or you can go out, have breakfast, come back after 2 hours. After 2 hours, that blood glucose level, they say it can go up to 100 to 140. I would say even if it goes up to 180, don't, or even up to 200, don't bother. You are fine. You are good. You are not pre-diabetic. You are good. Then no problem. It's because you ate, it has gone up to that. Okay. So more than 200, go to the doctor and discuss what to be done. All the best. And if you want any more details, you can put in the comment box. I'll give more details about it. Otherwise, the same things will come up again, bit of it will come up again in my future videos. In my future videos, I'll be discussing what to avoid if you don't want to have diabetes, or how you can prevent diabetes, and what food you can eat, and what happens if there is diabetes or diabetes mellitus, or high blood sugar, and these sugar spikes, what exactly they will do, what harm they can create in your body, and chronic diabetes, what diseases they can get, what effect it can have on the various organs. These things we'll discuss in the future videos. I'll cover it extensively so that you won't have any doubt. If any doubt is there, please discuss in the comment box. I'll surely reply. Thank you for watching this video. We'll meet again in the next video. Till then, share, subscribe. Thank you very much.